I hadn't had any political ambitions. I had been approached for other political office at different times, and I had always said no. But in this case, I just decided to do it, and did do it, and here I am. As I remember Columbia as a child, it was a small town. It was down to in the neighborhood of 18,000 people. I think it's 13,299 as I remember on the sign at the edge of the city. I did my kindergarten and my grade school, and my junior high school, and my high school all in the same building on the university campus. It was called the University Laboratory School. So I did 14 years in the same school. And I went into the Air Force at the end of my 4 years of college. And I was a pilot in the Air Force. I served my 3 years, and then I got out, but I stayed in the active reserves and continued to fly for the Air Force. I lived in different places around the country and could have chosen to either stay in flying with the Air Force or I could have flown for the airlines, and I could have chosen lots of different places to live, but I ended up coming back to Columbia.
In the late 1980s, when the city was looking in terms of a visioning committee, so to speak, and I suggested the title Columbia 2000. We knew even then we had to have a vision as the city was growing. Where did we want our community to go for the future, and how did we want to handle that growth with an eye toward quality growth?
I recall discussing with Mayor McCollum, who would provide good leadership in doing some visioning and planning for our city. And of course, at that time, Darwin Hindman was our selection.
At the time, he and Susan Gray graciously agreed to co-chair, and not only did they do the vision for the city of Columbia for the year 2000, but also co-chaired the second part of it, Columbia 2000 Part 2, which was how to implement that vision.
He was able to sort of ascertain what were the needs of the community, or what would it take to make Columbia the best city in America. And I think he used that committee work and the subsequent report that they submitted to the City Council at the time, when he was just a private citizen. I think he took that work and it became sort of his master plan, his strategic plan for when he became mayor.
And it is through Darwin's compassion and dedication and his leadership that most of that has become reality for the city of Columbia and for the citizens.
Certainly the obvious ones are trails and parks and recreational activities.
Stevens Park and the Arc and the biking and pedway improvements.
The city's grown, the city's expanded, services have expanded. But I think probably the thing that he'll always be best known for and remembered for many, well, posterity probably, is his interest in the trails and his early promotion of the MKT trail system in the state, here in Columbia and in the state of Missouri, and then what he's done for Columbia in terms of parks.
Darwin's going to leave another legacy, and that is this whole concept of transparency and involvement in city government.
We give you the opportunity at this level of government to actually participate in connection with our trying to make our best decisions possible on issues.
His gentle leadership over the last number of years has made a number of changes in how we do business here at City Hall.
He involved large numbers of people. It was a very participatory form of government. He would have committees that would have 30 or 40 people on it, and he would involve people from all walks of life.
I greatly admired Darwin and his ability to accept other people's points of view without being judgmental about it.
He constantly exhibits consummate respect for everyone, and that can be kind of hard when you have people disagreeing with your positions. But he has been so level-headed and even keel that you know, even if you don't agree with him, you have to respect him and what he's doing.
This really was a true government that was run by the people, and where the people's voices and their opinions could be heard.
And I always look at Darwin as our #1 volunteer in the city. I mean, when you look at the hours that you put in as mayor without any pay, it's all volunteer service.
That's one of the things that I think makes our city so great. People really serve for the benefit of the people in the community and for the community as a whole.
He's an impressive person who spends hours and hours giving his time to city activities and promoting Columbia, not just locally but nationally. He travels around and brags about this city that he's mayor of.
I think he bleeds black and gold. I think he bleeds Columbia. I mean, he has gone out of his way so many times to bring so much good to our community.
There's not a single place in the community you can imagine that a mayor might show up and carry the flag for the town or be in charge and make a presentation, say a few words that Dari is not willing to do. He's just given it his time. I'm sure glad we're not paying him by the hour. Of course, we're not paying him at all, so that's even a better bargain.
As a public servant, as a mayor, his integrity and his values are unassailable. And I think that that's a very, very important aspect of his public service, because he has set a standard for all others to follow.
My son recently did a report in school about Missouri. We live in Tennessee, and he listed the mayor, Mayor Hindman, as one of Missouri's great men, right along with Mark Twain and Harry S. Truman. And I'm not going to argue with him. We make an impartial panel of judges, I think, and it has nothing to do with the fact that my name's Darwin Hindman III and his name is Darwin Hindman IV.
Behind every great man is an even greater woman.
They have been married a long time. They're a good team. They balance each other in a lot of ways. She keeps them on track in a lot of ways.
We met on a blind date. We were introduced by a friend who knew Dari in law school and was in school with me. And on our very first date, we went to the Stevens College Playhouse to a play.
But that's only part of the story. She was in a sorority house, and she came down the stairs and took one look at me and turned around and went right back up. And I thought, well, I wonder what's going on here. I later learned that she took one look at my height and went back and changed her shoes to flats.
It's really a two-person project. I think a lot of people don't understand how much Axie has also contributed both of her time and giving up of time with Darwin.
When you see one, you see the other. You work with one, you're working with the two of them.
Darwin Axie have been the best ambassadors for the city of Columbia that we could ever ask for. I know the countless hours the mayor has spent, but I know also with Axie, she has been a true servant as well, volunteering her time on various causes.
I have served as an unpaid mayor for 15 years in the city of Columbia. That will be at the end of my term.
I begged Darwin to seek another term, and I felt like Columbia was at a point where we needed his continued leadership. And but I understand his need to move on to bigger and better things.
We're going to miss him. It will be a significant transition, not only for him, I'm sure, but for all of us here at City Hall when he leaves. I sincerely hope that he stays very much involved in the community. There are a lot of issues that will continue to come up, and we're going to need his help. So hope he doesn't go too far.
I hope that his replacement is going to be the same quality person that Darwin. He's really set a pace, and to have set it and to maintained it like he has. I hope that whoever takes that spot is going to have at least half the qualities that Darwin has.
We don't expect people to be perfect, but we expect them to live their values and their principles. And I think he has set that example, and Axie as well, and we are indebted to them for it. And I think that's why he has been mayor for 5 times.
I don't think I have any really serious regrets. Clearly there are things that I pushed for that didn't pass, but that's a good sign in a way, I think, that if the record looked like everything I pushed for passed, then that would suggest that I hadn't really gone out and taken enough risks. And so, to me, you don't want to have a perfect record of passage, otherwise nobody can take a lot of risks and not have a few failures. And so I feel very, very good about the way things have gone. One of the things I get to do and enjoy very much is go to schools. A lot of times this involves reading programs, or you just go visit a classroom. And I really do get a big kick out of that. The kids always ask questions, and they'll ask such questions as, do you live in a mansion? Which obviously I don't live in a mansion, actually I don't live in a mansion. They'll say, how about a limousine? You drive a limousine. I point out that I really prefer to ride my bicycle, that I don't have a limousine. And that comes as a shock. And I usually try and ride my bicycle to the schools so that I can say, well, I ride my bicycle. And then...
but I think one of the better ones is the youngster who asked him if he knew Abraham Lincoln.
Right, I thought that was...
put him in his place.